Chapter 1 Marry Liu Erlong. At the beginning, Yu Xiaogang sends blessings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Congrats to the happy couple. It's ready. Take it to the bridal chamber. Night settles in, a bright moon high above, inside a grand manor in Nodding City, lights twinkled, decorations abounded, and lanterns glowed. Laughter and celebration filled the entire estate. Lang Zhou and Miss Liu are a perfect match, truly made for each other. Absolutely. Zhou Lang is not only strikingly handsome, but also incredibly knowledgeable. It's just a shame. What's such a shame? So what if Zhou Lang's spirit is low-level and his innate soul power is only a so-so? Didn't he always say? There are no useless people, only a useless mindset. A person is only limited by their own lack of vision. Even a mortal can become a god. I heard that Zhou Lang didn't even have a spirit ring at first, and his soul power was only level 3. But he relied on his self-developed spirit techniques to create the 13 deadly swords. He took down 2 soul masters instantly with a single strike. They didn't even have time to summon their spirits, but the guests chattered on. The Zhou Yi they spoke of was the manor's owner. Today was his and Liu Erlong's wedding day. After Liu Erlong retired to the bridal chamber, Zhou Yi, handsome and determined, greeted the guests with a warm smile. Congratulations, Mr. Zhou, on your wedding. Wishing you happiness and prosperity. Congrats, Zhou Lang, happy wedding. Thank you all so much, Zhou Yi replied, smiling, but his mind was already racing to the bridal chamber. He wasn't from this world, he'd been transported here from Earth, his body returning to the age of 6. When he realized this was the Douluo Continent, he was filled with excitement, eager to train and become a god, but reality hit him hard. His spirit was just an ordinary iron sword. His innate soul power barely registered. Despite 16 years of grueling training, he'd barely managed to become a great soul master by the age of 22, without a stroke of luck. He'd never advance beyond that. His spirit was simply too weak. Fortunately, a month ago, Zhou Yi had unlocked his secret weapon, a system that rewarded him for having children. He got rewards for getting married. Each additional offspring extended his lifespan and granted him gifts like soul power, soul bones, and enhanced spirits. The first generation offered the most substantial rewards. Each child guaranteed 10 years of life, 10 years of cultivation, and other perks. Grandchildren earned half that amount, great-grandchildren, half again, and so on. There was a minimum baseline, though, so rewards wouldn't completely vanish over generations. If any of his descendants possessed innate soul power and could cultivate, their progress would also benefit Zhou Yi, who had been desperately seeking opportunities, was ready to give up the hard work. Why fight and kill? Why not settle down with a wife and kids? But the system required a woman's beauty to be at least an 80, with 100 being perfection, not a small ask. Finding ordinary beauties above that wasn't a huge problem. What's more, Zhou Yi wasn't just any soul master, but a true master of theory. But with a ready-made Liu Erlong, a 90 or above, already in love with him, Zhou Yi didn't bother looking elsewhere. He'd marry Liu Erlong, collect the initial rewards, and figure the rest out later. As for whether Liu Erlong would object to him marrying. Again, Zhou Yi was confident in his charm. If he were stronger, he'd even try to marry Bibi Dong. He'd arrived in this world early, when Bibi Dong and others were still young. Limited by his spirit and lacking a system, he focused on researching martial arts and developing his own spirit techniques. Soul power was like internal power or true energy, just with a different name. Drawing on knowledge from his past life, Zhou Yi innovated and created the 13 deadly swords. Fueled by soul power, the swordsmanship was lightning fast, striking vital points with deadly accuracy. Many opponents didn't even have a chance to activate their spirits before he killed them. Along the way, he met Bibi Dong, Yu Xiaogang, Liu Erlong, Flanders, even Tang Hao and Qianxunji. His 18-core spirit theories dwarfed Yu Xiaogangs' 10-core spirit competitiveness concepts. Yu Xiaogang argued there were no useless spirits, only useless soul masters. Zhou Yi countered that there were no useless people, only useless mindsets. The bigger your vision, the greater your potential. Even a mortal body could rival the gods. Yu Xiaogang claimed a soul master could only absorb a limited number of spirit rings at each level. Zhou Yi argued that the absorption period depended on various factors: spirit, physique, lineage, character, perseverance, compatibility, environment, etc. Everyone was different. The sky's the limit, how big your heart is, how high your ceiling will be. Practice is the only measure of success. Without practical confirmation, generalizations and inferences are just guesses. Yu Xiaogang was humiliated and enraged, but couldn't refute Zhou Yi's theories. Zhou Yi, with his self-created spirit techniques and unmatched theoretical knowledge, became a revered master in the soul master world, an idol to countless ordinary practitioners. Yu Xiaogang, outshone in both looks and intelligence, naturally failed to win Bibi Dong's affection. People tend to only focus on the best, that's just the way things are. Realizing Bibi Dong was drawn to Zhou Yi, the insecure Yu Xiaogang abandoned his hopes. His proud wisdom had been crushed, he stood no chance. The dejected Yu Xiaogang encountered Liu Erlong in Flanders. Yu Xiaogang fell for Liu Erlong at first sight, a striking and bold beauty with an amazing figure. It was over before it began. By chance, Zhou Yi revealed they were related. It's always Zhou Yi. Yu Xiaogang felt resentful and wronged, but there was nothing he could do. Zhou Yi's words rang true. There was no way to argue, and so the handsome and intelligent Zhou Yi naturally stole the heart of Liu Erlong, who admired wise men. Sadly, Zhou Yi had no plans to marry at the time. He maintained a polite but non-committal relationship with Liu Erlong, but with the system's arrival and its promise of rewarding children, he directly married Liu Erlong, who had long loved him. Liu Erlong was a talented soul master with a fire dragon spirit. Their offspring had a higher chance of inheriting innate soul power. Better children meant better rewards. It was a much better plan than marrying some ordinary woman. Xiaogang, Lao Fu. Zhou Yi approached Yu Xiaogang, a young man with short hair, and Flanders, the one with the glasses, and greeted them. Brother Zhou, congrats on the wedding. Yu Xiaogang's eyes were filled with mixed emotions as he suppressed his bitterness. As a cousin, he congratulated, take care of Erlong from now on. Wishing you happiness and children soon. His face was flushed, whether from drink or something else. The worst thing in the world is to attend the wedding of the person you love, only to watch them walk down the aisle with someone else. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Erlong. Zhou Yi patted Yu Xiaogang on the shoulder, had a few drinks with them, then went to greet other guests. He didn't drink much, just made his rounds, said hello, and left. A moment of passion is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. He had no time to waste drinking with them. Chapter 2 Wangfu's Liu Erlong, the reward is a big explosion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaogang, bottoms up. Flanders watched Zhou Yi leave, set down his glass, grabbed the wine jug, and took a huge swig. Drinking makes me sad, makes me even more sad. He was also in love with Liu Erlong. Too bad he thought he was too ugly. Not competitive. Now he was forcing a smile, attending his dream girl's wedding as just a friend. You could only imagine the ache in his heart, the thought of his beloved becoming another man's wife soon. It broke Flanders. He felt like he was being stabbed with silver needles. Fu, drink up. Yu Xiaogang grabbed his own jug, turning his grief into determination, and took a long pull. He choked, wanting to drink himself senseless. Alcohol could numb the pain. Only drunk. Then he could forget tonight was Liu Erlong's wedding night, forget the bitter taste in his mouth. One drink after another, Flanders passed out. Yu Xiaogang was drunk too, lying on the table, bleary-eyed. He thought he saw a stunning, ethereal woman on the distant rooftop. A crescent moon hung above her head, casting cold moonlight on her body, accentuating her jade-like skin. She looked like a celestial being descended from the moon palace, and she was vaguely familiar. Donger. A beautiful image flashed through Yu Xiaogangs mind, his first love. He squinted, trying to see clearly, but the alcohol made his vision swim. Exhaustion washed over him, his eyelids heavy. Finally, he couldn't fight it any longer. He slumped onto Flanders, murmuring as he drifted off, Donger, Erlong. Book of Changes. Liu Erlong *. On the roof, Bibi Dong, dressed in white, her skin like snow and eyes like bright moons, watched Zhou Yi walk toward the wedding chamber, her expression complex. She didn't even notice Yu Xiaogang at the reception. When I become a titled Douluo, I'll give you a wedding that stretches for miles. You lied. Where did I lie? You'll never become a titled Douluo. I will. So what? I can't give you a baby. My wives are all over the place. By the time you become a titled Douluo, I'll be old. 10 years, tops. Impossible. Wanna bet a gold coin? Can't you just marry me now? The spirit hall would never allow it. I'd be dead, and you'd be miserable. This was the conversation Bibi Dong had with Zhou Yi before he married Liu Erlong. Back then, Zhou Yi had already unlocked the system. He was sure he could become a titled Douluo within 10 years, and he wouldn't have to fear the spirit hall. But now, he couldn't marry Bibi Dong. He wasn't some idiot like Yu Xiaogang, acting without thinking. Bibi Dong wore her heart on her sleeve. He didn't, he had to think about the consequences. Without strength, you're on your own, as long as he didn't try to run off with Bibi Dong, she'd be safe and stay the high-ranking, pure saint of the spirit hall. Asterisk the chamber Douluo will not appear either. Star. Zhou Yi. I'll give you 10 years. If you don't become a titled Douluo in 10 years, I'll kill you and Liu Erlong. Watching Zhou Yi enter the bridal chamber, close the door, and disappear from sight, Bibi Dong's eyes turned cold, her heart hardened. If Zhou Yi really became a titled Douluo in 10 years, maybe was it just possible? Right now, Zhou Yi was in his 20s, and he was only a great soul master. Even with a top-tier martial soul, it was almost impossible to go from great soul master to titled Douluo in a decade. Besides, Zhou Yi's martial soul was so awful, even becoming a soul master was a challenge. But just thinking of Zhou Yi's confident eyes, Bibi Dong wavered. This was a man who could make miracles happen. He could make the impossible possible. Let's go. Gathering her thoughts, Bibi Dong turned and left with Ghost Douluo. She needed to train harder too. If she had the strength of a titled Douluo now, Zhou Yi might be marrying her instead of Liu Erlong. Zhou Yi's smart to marry Liu Erlong. Now that the saintess has given up, His Majesty the Pope can rest easy. Ghost Douluo turned away, his ghostly figure melting into the shadows. He vanished with Bibi Dong as if he'd never been there. Zhou Mansion, inside the wedding room, Liu Erlong, in a wedding dress and red veil, sat on the edge of the bed, hands folded primly in her lap, fingers twisting the hem of her skirt. Her chest rose and fell with nervous anticipation. Though she was proud, outspoken, quick-tempered, and cheerful, she was no different from any other girl on her wedding night. Creak, the door opened, and Liu Erlong jumped. As it closed, footsteps approached. She knew it was Zhou Yi. She'd been struck by Zhou Yi's appearance when they first met in Heizhulin, but she wasn't someone who only cared about looks. Later, she was won over by his talent and intelligence. His deep knowledge made Yu Xiaogang, whom she admired so much, seem ordinary. Zhou Yi's combat skills were terrible, but she saw a rising spirit in him that burned like the sun. She saw him sweat as he worked on his self-made soul skills, the 13 life-shattering swords. Others saw speed and deadly attacks. She saw the blood and sweat he poured in every day. Hard work was attractive. That was the moment her heart was captured. Erlong. Zhou Yi reached the bedside and lifted her veil. Zhou Lang. Liu Erlong looked up shyly, meeting his eyes. Liu Erlong was radiant tonight. The wedding dress was like fire, her skin like snow, her features delicate and captivating, her eyebrows perfectly shaped, and her dark eyes shy but filled with emotion. Beneath the dress was a fiery and desirable figure that few could match. It's late. After we drink this, let's get some sleep. Zhou Yi picked up 2 glasses of wine and handed one to Liu Erlong with a bright smile. He was 22 now. Before this, all his thoughts were focused on growing stronger and finding opportunities. Not that he didn't appreciate beauty, but he knew strength was everything. Especially now, there weren't many well-known beauties, and the ones that were well-known were hard to get to. It always came back to strength. Okay. Liu Erlong blushed, took the glass, and drank with Zhou Yi. Erlong, you're beautiful. Looking at her bashful beauty, Zhou Yi felt a rush of excitement and lifted Liu Erlong into his arms. The lamp. No need. Among the stars, the moon quietly hid behind a cloud, as if covering its bashful eyes. Inside the bridal chamber, the crimson dragon and phoenix candles flickered, the melted wax dripping like tears. The long night was filled with romance. Zhou Yi was thrilled. The rewards were finally here. Ding! Congratulations to the host for achieving the wedding milestone. First time bonus activated. Bonus. Zhou Yi was overjoyed, his expectations high. Reward 1, Grandmaster level medical skills. Reward 2, Martial Soul Evolution. Reward 3, Sacred Heart Art. Reward 4, Experience Value Function Unlocked. Chapter 3 Iron Sword Super Evolution, the magical use of experience points. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Grandmaster level medical skills, Martial Soul Evolution, Sacred Heart Art, and experience points activated. Talk about a killer first reward. And it's supercharged. All 4 perks are gold. Zhou Yi was floored, then ecstatic. According to the system, medical skills go from 1 to 9, 9 being the max. Only 9s are considered masters, so what's a grandmaster? Someone who rewrites the book, with game-changing research into drugs and their effects, who can pull off medical miracles, unless you're completely decapitated. Even if you're clinging to life by a thread, a grandmaster can patch you up. Think of those legendary healers in martial arts novels Zhou Yi used to read, like Doctor Who, Dr. Ping, Dr. Su, or Sai Huadua. They were all around level 7 or 8. Folks who could hit level 9 were rare as hen's teeth. Grandmaster. Forget about it, that's how crazy powerful these skills are. Trying to keep his cool, Zhou Yi stashed the Grandmaster medical knowledge in the system. It's a mountain of info that'll take forever to process. And Zhou Yi's got stuff to do, no need to rush. As for the Martial Soul Evolution, your guess is as good as mine what his Iron Sword Martial Soul might become, but it's happening on the fly, no downtime. Zhou Yi can just roll with it. Buzz. Zhou Yi's Martial Soul shimmered into existence. It was a plain, unsharpened black iron sword. Huh, what's this? Douluo Erlong, sensing the energy, blinked her beautiful eyes open. She saw Zhou Yi's iron sword glowing with golden light, then, to her utter amazement, the black iron sword morphed into a golden blade, pulsing with dragon power, its edge razor-sharp. Dragon sword. Liu Erlong's jaw dropped, her breath hitched. An egg could fit in my mouth. Her heart hammered. Is this a martial soul mutation? And a good one. Liu Erlong was shocked and thrilled. She'd seen martial soul mutations before. Yu Xiaogang's martial soul was one. Too bad it mutated for the worse. His once top-tier soul turned to trash, capping his soul power at level 29, a constant source of pain. Zhou Yi's, though. This was clearly going in the right direction, the clunky iron sword and this golden masterpiece. No comparison. Congrats, honey, Liu Erlong blurted out, seeing Zhou Yi's martial soul evolve. With a martial soul like this, Zhou Yi's training will be 1,000 times easier. He could even become a titled Douluo down the road. My martial soul mutated into a divine dragon sword. Looks like you're my lucky charm, Erlong. You're bringing me good fortune. Zhou Yi dismissed his martial soul, playfully tweaked her flushed cheek, and grinned. Honey. Liu Erlong looked away, flustered, her heart racing. Am I really lucky? Zhou Yi just married her, and bam. His martial soul goes Super Saiyan, dragon sword. Could it be 'cause she's got dragon blood in her? Seeing her shy, hot mess of a face, Zhou Yi couldn't resist. He flipped the switch to training mode. Experience +1. Experience +1. Experience +1. That's the deal with perk number 4, experience points. You get M by doing the horizontal tango, and you can spend M to level up your skills. If Zhou Yi racked up enough, he could even bump his Grandmaster level medical skills to God tier. Now that's a miracle worker. Of course, it'd take a mountain of experience. Perk number 3, the Sacred Heart Art, is just as insane, created by Lord Shirtian, the Storm Emperor, after centuries of research and a mashup of hundreds of martial arts styles. It's not just powerful, it can make you immortal, even bring you back from the dead. The Sacred Heart Art's an internal power technique and a whole arsenal of killer moves, unparalleled Qinggong to fly through the air, secrets of the Sacred Heart for focus, and trials for inner strength. Special martial arts, Nahai Sacred Heart Curse, Heavenly Palace Phantom, and Chiwu desolate situation, Kiwuji is straight up bonkers, turning you into particles that can reassemble anywhere, Tang San's prized Shantian technique, ghost shadow steps, and Xian jade hand. They wouldn't stand a chance against the sacred heart art, but the art's power comes at a cost, mastering it takes time and focus, without the right insight, you might not even get past the first step, Zhou Yi, though. He ain't worried, he's got experience points, just gotta stack 'em up, so, once he'd checked out all his new toys, Zhou Yi's mood was sky high. He dove headfirst into the noble art of earning experience points, work hard, play hard, you know. Liu Erlong's clearly a jackpot, Zhou Yi ain't gonna let her down, tonight, the bridal chamber's gonna be lit, right now's not the time for kung fu study, Zhou Yi might be a newbie husband, but he ain't clueless, the night turned steamy, the sun rose, the moon set, after Liu Erlong finally passed out, Zhou Yi downloaded the Grandmaster medical knowledge, and the next second, a tidal wave of info flooded his brain, even though he braced himself, Zhou Yi couldn't help but stumble back, nearly drowned by the sheer amount of raw data. It took a full hour to process it all. After he finally digested everything, Zhou Yi had to admit, Grandmaster. That's an understatement. The info was mind-blowing. Now he truly was a Grandmaster, with a complete understanding of medicine and drugs, he could say, without a hint of false modesty, the rest of you. You're amateurs, the Douluo Continent's a fantasy world, sure, but in some ways, it's behind the times. Soul masters just hunt soul beasts for soul rings, get powers handed to them, and skip the whole learn a skill thing, same with medicine, why study when you can just grab it? A titled Douluo like Dugu Bo couldn't cure himself or his granddaughter, Dugu Yen, that's Douluo medicine in a nutshell. Sure, Dugu Bo's and Dugu Yen's poison's nasty, but Tang San figured it out, even though Tang San secretly learned the Tang clan's Shantian Kung Fu, he was talented. But let's be real, the Tang sect. It's nothing special, they're good with poison, but only compared to average folks. In any serious martial arts world, Grandmaster level medical skills make you a god. Now, with my Grandmaster level skills, I could poison a titled Douluo without breaking a sweat. Even poison Douluo's got nothing on me. Medicine and poison are two sides of the same coin. Grandmaster skills naturally include insane poison techniques. Right then, Zhou Yi felt a surge of confidence. With his skills locked down, Zhou Yi moved on to the Sacred Heart Art. That didn't take nearly as long. The Sacred Heart Art is strong, but it's not the knowledge dump that the medical skills were. When Zhou Yi opened his eyes, the sun was already high. Liu Erlong was awake. She was lying on his chest, drawing circles with her fingers, still blushing, gazing at his handsome face. When Zhou Yi woke up, they locked eyes. Remembering last night, Liu Erlong quickly looked away, burying her face in his chest. Zhou Yi chuckled, hugging her close, feeling on top of the world. He called up his stats. Host, Zhou Yi, age, 22. Level, Great Soul Master, level 23, Wuhuan, Dragon Sword, skill, Sacred Heart Technique, Soul Skills, Fleeting Glimpse, 520 years, so close to the end of the world, 1001 years. Skills, 13 Deadly Swords, Grandmaster Medical Skills, Experience, 696. Chapter 4 Shocked Yu Xiaogang for 10,000 years. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Experience points, 696. Zhou Yi checked his experience total, a hard-earned result from the previous night. He could still feel the effort he'd put in. Wonder how much I can get done with almost 700 points. He immediately dumped all his experience into the Holy Heart Technique, and a wave of mysterious energy washed over him. Zhou Yi's mind drifted to a different dimension, a gray and empty space. He found himself sitting cross-legged on a boulder, intently studying the Holy Heart Technique. Days blurred into one another. After what felt like forever, the complex principles of the Holy Heart Technique began to click into place, and Zhou Yi felt he was on the verge of grasping it. Then, suddenly, he snapped back to reality. He glanced at his stats. The experience was gone, and he hadn't even unlocked the technique, but Zhou Yi wasn't bummed, he was stoked. He realized how much each experience point was worth. The Sacred Heart Technique took Emperor Shi Tian thousands of years to create, a fusion of countless martial arts styles. It was incredibly complex, nothing like the Xiantian Kung Fu. Of course it would take more than one try, plus, Zhou Yi felt like he was only a few hundred points away from mastering the core principles of the Sacred Heart technique, and a few hundred points. That was just one night's work, totally worth it. Once he understood the Sacred Heart technique, the combination of that skill and his martial soul would skyrocket his training. After all, the Douluo Continent had no specific training methods. Everyone just meditated to boost their soul power. Zhou Yi couldn't wait. He wanted to start racking up experience and boost the Sacred Heart technique right away. Honey, time to wake up. Sensing the change in Zhou Yi's mood, Liu Erlong was both shy and happy. She quickly stopped his wandering hands, pointing out that it was almost noon. She didn't want a repeat of the previous night. Okay. Zhou Yi reluctantly nodded, suppressing his eagerness. He was hungry anyway, not just from the night before, but also because his peak physical condition burned more energy than normal. As a transmigrator, Zhou Yi knew physical fitness was key. That's why he had always trained hard, even using his soul power to strengthen his body, making him far stronger than other soul masters at his level. He currently had 2 soul rings, one 520 years old, the other 1001 years old. The second one was risky, but Zhou Yi had pulled it off. His physical strength played a huge part in that. Yu Xiaogang's theories about absorption limits. Zhou Yi had blown them out of the water, proving the guy wrong and validating his own approach. Both of Zhou Yi's soul ring abilities boosted his speed. Before the system, Zhou Yi wasn't confident about his future cultivation, so he focused on maximizing his potential in every way he could. For example, the mutation in his martial soul had left Yu Xiaogang stuck in the mud, with no hope for the future. Even though he'd reached level 29 Great Soul Master by age 17, Zhou Yi's original martial souls were trash. Without a lucky break, like the elixirs at the Ice and Fire Eyes, he might never have become a soul master, so Zhou Yi had put everything into his soul rings. His 2 skills, Glimpse of Light and So Close to the End of the World, not only boosted his attack power with the 13 deadly swords, but were also great for escaping and staying alive. Before the system, Zhou Yi had planned on getting those elixirs. When you're weak, speed is crucial. Now the elixirs weren't essential, but Zhou Yi wasn't going to let them go to waste. He'd get them when he was stronger. He didn't want Dugubo to screw them up, and he definitely didn't want Tang San to get his hands on them. Wonder if Ah Yin has met Tang Hao. Zhou Yi's mind jumped to cutting off Ah Yin from Tang Hao. She was the 100,000-year-old blue Silver Emperor. If she had a baby for him, the rewards would be amazing. You can't have too many kids. One wife won't cut it. More wives meant more kids, and every new wife meant another reward. Of course, Liu Erlong was number 1, so her rewards were doubled. He didn't expect the others to be that generous, but Zhou Yi was excited about his first son or daughter. What kind of surprises would that bring? The thought almost made him skip brunch and get started right then and there. Honey, seriously, get up. Feeling Zhou Yi's gaze getting intense, Liu Erlong blushed and quickly helped him get dressed. Zhou Yi's obsession with her filled her with happiness, pride and confidence. After all, a woman's worst fear wasn't a man lusting after her body, but him not even being interested. Plus, she knew about Zhou Yi and Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong had her beat in terms of status and looks, which had made her feel insecure and down, but now she was glowing and radiant. Confident women were the most attractive. Once he was dressed, Zhou Yi helped the slightly sore but beaming Liu Erlong out of the room for brunch. Meanwhile, in another guest room, the air was thick with the smell of booze. Erlong, Donger. Yu Xiaogang was clutching Bibi Dong in one hand and Liu Erlong in the other. Looking at the 2 beauties with red veils, he lifted Bibi Dong's veil with shaky hands. The next second, he screamed. Yu Xiaogang's body convulsed in terror. Under the veil was Flanders' long, ugly horse face with glasses. He shot up in bed, gasping for air. When he opened his eyes, all he saw was Flanders' ugly mug. Bang! He instinctively kicked out, sending the unsuspecting Flanders crashing onto the floor in a tangle of limbs. Flanders, aching and still half asleep, cursed, "What the? Who the hell just blindsided me?" That Yu Xiaogang sat up, ignoring Flanders, shaking his head to clear the fog. It had all been a dream. Yu Xiaogang. Flanders was wide awake now, furious at being kicked out of bed. "Why are you flipping out this early? If you're mad, take it out on Zhou Yi. Why kick me? That Yu Xiaogang didn't reply, got dressed, and headed for the door. Where are you going? Flanders hurried after him, worried that Yu Xiaogang would actually pick a fight with Zhou Yi, he'd get pummeled, and likely be humiliated. To say goodbye, Yu Xiaogang said quietly. I'm coming with, Flanders followed, desperate to leave as soon as possible, when they saw Liu Erlong, glowing with a mature confidence no young girl could match. Yu Xiaogang and Flanders were stunned, they had never seen her so radiant, but it only made their hearts ache more, that beauty was not theirs. It bloomed because of Zhou Yi. Their goddess was gone, lost to another man. They made an excuse to leave. When Liu Erlong saw Yu Xiaogang's gloomy face, she assumed he was down about his martial soul, so she reassured him, there's always a solution for your martial soul, Xiaogang. Just like my husband. He successfully mutated his own. What? Zhou Yi's martial soul mutated. Yu Xiaogang looked up, shocked, staring at Zhou Yi. Zhou. Brother Zhou, your martial soul mutated? And for the better? Yeah. Zhou Yi nodded. Martial soul mutations weren't a secret, although most of them went wrong. Positive mutations weren't unheard of, just rare. Zhou Yi didn't hide it, and summoned his martial soul. A huge golden sword crackled into existence, radiating draconic energy and a terrifying edge. Flanders's and Yu Xiaogang's pupils shrank, like they'd been shocked. They were speechless. Chapter 5. Yu Xiaogang was deceived and became lame, so he knelt down to become his disciple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Holy crap, is that really your martial spirit? Am I seeing things? Isn't that weaker than even the crappiest weapon spirit? Flanders and Yu Xiaogang were floored. They knew Zhou Yi's martial spirit had leveled up, but they never imagined it could mutate this much. This powerful. Yu Xiaogang's eyes blazed with intensity, his heart pounding. Zhou Yi's martial spirit actually mutated successfully. Could it be possible for his to do the same? Yu Xiaogang, who was about to leave, rushed over to Zhou Yi, his face a mask of eagerness, and begged for his secret to martial spirit mutation. Even though Zhou Yi wasn't exactly a fan of Yu Xiaogang, he was still Liu Erlong's cousin. So, Zhou Yi decided to spill the beans and give him some good stuff. Xiaogang, do you think martial spirit mutation is totally random? Zhou Yi asked, cutting right to the chase. He didn't believe in beating around the bush, and preferred to keep things direct and to the point. Liu Erlong knew this well. You think it can be controlled? Yu Xiaogangs eyes burned into Zhou Yi's, his face pale, as if he'd just been kicked down from cloud 9. If martial spirit mutation was controllable, mine wouldn't be the joke it is. Yu Xiaogang gave a self-deprecating laugh, a bitter taste in his mouth. He'd gotten his hopes up too soon. Zhou Yi's martial spirit mutated for the better. Lucky him. But that kind of luck was like winning the lottery. If his martial spirit wanted to mutate, it would take the same kind of blind luck. And luck, well, forget it. Xiaogang. Seeing Yu Xiaogang so discouraged, utterly defeated, Flanders felt a pang of worry and started to say something, but he didn't know where to begin. He wanted to offer comfort, but he was at a loss. So, you think martial spirit mutation is just a crapshoot? Zhou Yi's voice rang out, confident and strong, carrying a persuasive power that filled the hall. Well, I think it might not be completely uncontrollable. At least, we can influence it. What? Yu Xiaogangs eyes, which had been glazed over, suddenly snapped back to life, staring intently at Zhou Yi. You're saying martial spirit mutation can be controlled? No way. Reason told him it was impossible. Absolutely impossible. But still, Yu Xiaogangs' gaze remained fixed on Zhou Yi, clinging to even the faintest sliver of hope. He had to try. Martial spirit, Zhou Yi began, emphasizing the word. The word, spirit, tells us it's linked to our souls. We always say a person with a rotten heart has a rotten soul. That shows that our hearts can affect our souls. The heart is the soul. In my opinion, our minds also have power, even if that power is invisible and intangible. That doesn't mean it isn't there. I've said before, your power only grows as big as your heart. Only a strong heart can create true strength, so the mind is itself a kind of power, mind power. Mind power? Yu Xiaogang, Flanders, and Liu Erlong listened, bewildered. It sounded crazy, but after thinking about it, it almost made sense. They all knew that a person's character was crucial to their growth. Maybe character was a type of spiritual power. But what did spiritual power have to do with martial spirits? Could it really affect them? Yes, I think spiritual power can affect martial spirits. Zhou Yi seemed to know exactly what they were thinking. He reached out and grasped the dragon sword, radiating the presence of a peerless swordsman, like a god within the blade. My martial spirit was originally just a dull iron sword, but I had an unshakable belief that it was a divine weapon, invincible in my hands. Day after day, rain or shine, I practiced swordsmanship, used it to kill soul beasts, fought soul masters. No matter when or where, I held firm to the belief that it was a divine sword. Years passed, and 10 years felt like just one. 16 years later, I still believed. Although, on the surface, it didn't change much, I knew my beliefs and my heart were influencing it, guiding it to transform in the direction I wanted. That's the power of the mind. And today, 16 years later, that belief has finally reached critical mass. While Erlong and I were consummating our marriage and our hearts were ablaze with passion, it finally broke through the last barrier, burst from its cocoon like a butterfly, and the carp transformed into a dragon. The mutation was a success, turning from a dull iron sword into a divine dragon sword. That's how a blade gains its edge from constant sharpening, and plum blossoms find their fragrance in the bitter cold. You need the heart of a sword god to forge a peerless sword, that when he finished speaking, the hall fell silent. Everyone was speechless, boom, a thunderclap echoed outside. Yu Xiaogang snapped out of his daze and looked at Zhou Yi with a feverish intensity, as if seeing him for the first time, a sword, a divine sword, cutting through the sky, a divine dragon, soaring ever higher. What is your martial spirit? Zhou Yi suddenly fixed Yu Xiaogang with a piercing gaze and thundered. Luo Sanpao. Yu Xiaogang answered without thinking. Release your martial spirit. Zhou Yi's voice brooked no argument. Yu Xiaogang immediately summoned his martial spirit. His martial spirit mutated into a creature. It looked like a dog, but it was the size of a pig. It was over 5 feet long with a waist that was about the same. It was covered in lavender hair, with drooping ears, and a pair of large, dark blue eyes that blinked constantly. Its fat body jiggled as its rear wiggled from side to side. With its 4 short, stubby legs, its movements were unbelievably slow. There was a round bump on the top of its head, though it was hard to tell what it was. As soon as it appeared, it wobbled towards Yu Xiaogang and rubbed its big head against Yu Xiaogang's legs. Tell me, what is your martial spirit? Zhou Yi asked again. It is. Looking at Luo Sanpao, Yu Xiaogang finally understood. He took a deep breath, as if summoning the loudest voice of his life. It's a dragon. It's a dragon. It's a dragon. Good. Zhou Yi nodded, a hint of approval in his eyes. If you think it's a dog or a pig, then that's what it will be, a pig dog. You have to firmly believe it's a dragon, treat it like one, cultivate it like one, and only then can it become a dragon. This process might take 10 years, 20 years, or even a lifetime. Can you do it? I can. Yu Xiaojiang's face was flushed, a fire burning in his chest, thump, Yu Xiaojiang dropped to his knees and bowed low to Zhou Yi. Thank you for your guidance, teacher. I understand. Flanders and Liu Erlong stared in stunned disbelief. And yet, Zhou Yi's theory seemed to make sense. Like a tiger that's raised as a cat from a cub and thinks it's a cat. When it grows up, the tiger will become a big cat. Or, conversely, if a cat grew up with a tiger, she would be a cat with high anxiety. Xiaogang, what are you doing? Get up. Zhou Yi said quickly. He had only intended to pull Yu Xiaojiang's leg, but he seemed to have gone too far and actually convinced him. He even knelt down. "Please, teacher, accept me," Yu Xiaojiang said firmly. "Though I admired you before, I was arrogant, foolishly thinking I could surpass you one day. But after hearing you today, I realize how naive I was. The gap between us is like the difference between heaven and earth. I've already been kicked out of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, so you don't have to worry about any problems with my family. Please, accept me as your disciple." That Yu Xiaojiang was arrogant. Even though his martial spirit had mutated and was stuck at level 29 and unable to advance, he was still proud. He was proud of his wisdom and his theories. Even though Zhou Yi's repeated blows had made him depressed and even inferior at times, he was still unconvinced deep down. There was still a desire to surpass Zhou Yi, but today, Zhou Yi had shattered his last vestige of pride. But he wasn't depressed. He saw a brand new path. He saw the guiding light. This mind power stuff was so cool. He had to learn it. It was like a wine lover seeing a fine vintage or a lustful person seeing a stunning beauty. As for insisting on becoming Zhou Yi's disciple, Yu Xiaojiang knew that a master-disciple relationship was the most stable and reliable. Only then would Zhou Yi be willing to teach him everything. After all, they had been love rivals before. But after he called Liu Erlong master's wife, he would be able to put Zhou Yi's grudges to rest. Zhou Yi pondered for a moment. It seemed good to be Yu Xiaojiang's master. He could yell at him openly and honestly. He could make him work himself to the bone while he could get more free time to love his goddess. It was like the boss playing with your girlfriend and squeezing all your labor, using the money you made to continue playing with your girlfriend. But in this scenario, you become the boss. Yu Xiaojiang is an employee. Just thinking about it was making him excited. Looking at the big fat sheep Yu Xiaojiang, Zhou Yi became awe-inspiring. "Since you're so sincere, I'll accept you as my disciple from now on." "Thank you, teacher." Yu Xiaojiang was overjoyed and thanked him profusely. Then, a simple apprenticeship ceremony was held. "Teacher, please have some tea." Yu Xiaojiang knelt on the ground, bowed, and served tea to Zhou Yi and Liu Erlong one by one. "Master's wife, please have some tea." Liu Erlong looked at Yu Xiaojiang with complicated eyes. They had been cousins, and now they suddenly had become master and disciple. And she had just been promoted to master's wife. Chapter 6, Once a Teacher, Always a Father, Introduction to the Sacred Heart Art. You are listening at novelfull.audio. "Xiaogang, you really went ahead and made Zhou Yi your teacher." After they left the Zhou residence, Flanders was still reeling. He stared at Yu Xiaojiang, who was practically buzzing with excitement beside him, completely baffled. Ever since they'd met, Flanders had always seen Yu Xiaojiang as the embodiment of wisdom. He and Yu Xiaojiang had always let Yu Xiaojiang lead the way, even though Zhou Yi had completely dismantled Yu Xiaojiang's 10 core competencies of spirit theory. Flanders' view of Yu Xiaojiang hadn't changed. At the same time, he knew that Yu Xiaojiang hadn't truly accepted it deep down. Taking a master is a lifelong commitment. You can't just fake something like that, can you? Yu Xiaojiang frowned, clearly annoyed. Now that he held Zhou Yi in such high esteem, and he'd already sworn his apprenticeship, how could he possibly go back on his word? Alright, so what's the plan now? Flanders decided to drop it. The truth was, Zhou Yi's psychic power theory had impressed and awed him. The only problem was that his goddess had become Zhou Yi's woman, available to him anytime. He just didn't like Zhou Yi. "I'm thinking of buying a place nearby so I can be close. I'll spend this time studying the psychic power theory under my master's guidance. When I'm ready, I'll head out and train, trying to evolve the 3 guns as quickly as possible." Yu Xiaojiang rubbed Luo Sanpao's head, his eyes burning with a fierce determination. He knew he could do it, because Luo Sanpao was the dragon. Yes. A dragon. When it came to spirit power, you had to believe it absolutely. Only then could Luo Sanpao be subtly affected and changed. In that case, count me in. Flanders was a free agent with nothing tying him down. Where else could he train? Plus, he was genuinely interested in this psychic power theory. He was also curious to see if Yu Xiaogang could successfully mutate his spirit again. The two of them bought a house near the Zhou residence and settled in. Yu Xiaogang pulled out his notebook and meticulously wrote down everything Zhou Yi had said. He also pondered deeply, adding notes about his own experiences and understanding. Meanwhile, the news of Zhou Yi's spirit mutation, the incredible transformation from a trash-tier iron sword into a top-tier divine dragon sword, swept across the Douluo Continent like a Category 5 hurricane, with Nodding City as the epicenter, and along with it spread Zhou Yi's psychic power theory. This was earth-shattering news that could shake the entire continent. The name of Zhou Yi would soon resound throughout the Spirit Master world. Back at the Zhou residence. "Honey, you're amazing." Liu Erlong's bright, wide eyes were filled with admiration. She was the stereotypical hot-blooded, big-breasted woman who wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, and people always want what they lack. That's why she admired intelligent men. In the original story, Yu Xiaogang was able to win Liu Erlong's unwavering love because of his wisdom, but Zhou Yi's wisdom surpassed Yu Xiaogang's by leaps and bounds. Now, Liu Erlong's eyes and heart were completely filled with Zhou Yi. She had initially thought that Zhou Yi's spirit had mutated naturally through luck, like anyone else, but she never expected that Zhou Yi had actively guided the transformation. Relying on luck meant that only 1 in a million might successfully mutate. Active guidance was a whole different ballgame. It completely changed her perception of everything. Zhou Yi might not be the strongest, but he was undoubtedly the wisest person in the entire Douluo Continent. "I've got something even more powerful to show you." Zhou Yi was deeply moved by the way Liu Erlong was looking at him. He wrapped his arms around her voluptuous figure, gazed into her shy, beautiful eyes, and said, "My martial spirit's mutation wouldn't have been possible without you, Erlong. Remember what I told you last night? You're a good luck charm. You're just teasing me now." Liu Erlong rolled her eyes, clearly not buying it. "I'm serious," Zhou Yi said earnestly. "There's a saying, the edge of a sword is sharpened on a whetstone. Do you know why my mutated spirit is the dragon sword instead of, say, the tiger soul sword or the wolf fang sword?" "Why?" Seeing Zhou Yi's serious expression, Liu Erlong grew serious as well, asking without thinking. "Because my sword has slain a dragon and been bathed in its blood, it naturally mutated into a divine dragon sword." "Honey, when did you kill a dragon?" Liu Erlong's eyes widened, filled with shock, curiosity, and doubt. How could she not have known about this? "I'll take you to slay the dragon yourself right now." Zhou Yi swept Liu Erlong into his arms in a princess carry and strode toward the bedroom. He hadn't forgotten about his system. Kids were a big deal. Zhou Yi had unlimited expectations for his first child. He needed to get Liu Erlong pregnant as soon as possible, and that required his efforts. But it's still broad daylight. Liu Erlong finally understood what was happening. She'd been played, dragon slaying, a martial spirit mutating into a dragon sword. It was all just to tease her. She was the dragon, Liu Erlong. Having a baby is a big deal. Old Mike was all alone. His biggest wish before he died was that I'd marry more wives and have a whole bunch of healthy sons. Zhou Yi chuckled, carrying the blushing beauty into the bedroom, and what he said was true. Old Mike was the head of Emperor Soul Village, where Zhou Yi had lived after transmigrating. Emperor Soul Village was just like Holy Soul Village. The village wasn't big, but there had once been a spirit master at the Spirit Emperor level, and that was always the village's source of pride. That's where the name Emperor Soul Village came from. Zhou Yi had first awakened his spirit in Emperor Soul Village. Then, he had used his knowledge to make Emperor Soul Village wealthy. Unfortunately, Old Mike had died 10 years ago, but he'd always taken good care of him, and so, Zhou Yi felt it was his duty to fulfill Old Mike's last wish, get married, have children, work tirelessly to grow the family. Liu Erlong was helpless, but since her heart was full of Zhou Yi, she could only let him have his way. Let Zhou Yi take her. Zhou Yi also began working hard to cultivate immortality. Experience points +1. Experience points +1. Experience points +1. New love. That night, Zhou Yi also experienced great joy. It was exactly like this. I want to become an immortal and be happy all over the world. Liu Erlong may not have been the most beautiful to him, but her figure was definitely the best, and Zhou Yi was completely obsessed. next door, Yu Xiaogang was still studying Zhou Yi's psychic power theory, working day and night, while Flanders sat on his bed, meditating to cultivate his spirit power. The night passed quietly. Yu Xiaogang didn't sleep a wink. He spent the entire night studying the psychic power theory. So excited he couldn't sleep. Zhou Yi also didn't sleep. He was working even harder than Yu Xiaogang. However, when he checked the attribute panel, Zhou Yi discovered that he had only earned 360 experience points yesterday afternoon, and last night, on the first night, he had earned almost 700 experience points. It seems you get the most experience points the first time, and then it tapers off. Zhou Yi wasn't too concerned, as long as it wasn't decreasing. Besides, a lot of things are always the best and the most expensive the first time. And the speed at which he was earning experience points wasn't slow, either. I should be able to get started with the Sacred Heart technique. Zhou Yi figured that it took about 1,000 experience points to get started with the Sacred Heart technique, so he immediately added all 360 experience points to it. Chapter 7: How to Cultivate the Golden Holy Dragon. The teacher is so busy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next second, a strange, powerful feeling surged through him. Zhou Yi's mind felt like it had entered a space dedicated solely to practicing the Sacred Heart art. Time seemed to blur, then, snap. Like an invisible barrier shattering, understanding flooded his mind. The secrets of the Sacred Heart technique were suddenly clear. He'd finally gotten the hang of it. Not bad, mastering the Sacred Heart technique in just 2 days, Zhou Yi thought, elated. He immediately channeled his soul power according to the technique, rapidly opening the meridians throughout his body. The blockages dissolved like sandcastles in a flood, but his soul power drained quickly. By the time Zhou Yi had opened the 12 main meridians and the 8 extraordinary meridians, his soul power was completely depleted. But then, a brand new kind of soul power surged from his core. This was true energy, the Sacred Heart Qi. Sacred Heart Qi not only possessed incredible healing properties, with the potential to even bring the dead back to life, but it was also tougher and stronger than the soul power Zhou Yi had cultivated before. Based on his calculations, a single thread of Sacred Heart Qi was worth at least 100 strands of soul power. And that didn't even account for its special effects. Right then, Zhou Yi felt invincible. He wasn't just talking about being invincible at his current level, even taking on opponents several levels higher felt like a piece of cake. His heart pounding, Zhou Yi continued to practice the Sacred Heart art with renewed vigor. Having a specific technique to practice was infinitely better than simple meditation. Meditation was like hauling a cart uphill by hand. Using an active technique was like slapping a turbocharger on it, even though Sacred Heart true energy was 100 times more potent than soul power. Continuous practice with the Sacred Heart art caused the true energy in his core to build steadily. Half an hour passed. Zhou Yi's core was finally filled with Sacred Heart true energy, but Zhou Yi didn't stop. He kept running the technique, *snap*. Another barrier broke, and Zhou Yi's core expanded, able to hold even more true energy. An hour later, Zhou Yi felt he couldn't break through any further for the time being and stopped his practice. He checked his stats. Host, Zhou Yi, age, 22. Cultivation, Great Soul Master, level 27, Spirit, Dragon Sword, Technique, Sacred Heart Technique, Initiate, 56/10,000, Soul Skills, Fleeting Glimpse, 520 years, so close, yet worlds away, 1001 years, Skills, 13 Deadly Swords, Grandmaster Medical Skills, Experience, 0. The Sacred Heart technique is ridiculously powerful. It leveled me up 4 times, Zhou Yi thought, impressed. But he knew it was also a matter of accumulated experience. After all, his spirit had evolved, and he was now practicing the Sacred Heart art. A 4-level jump wasn't entirely surprising. The biggest benefit was Zhou Yi's current strength. Sacred Heart Qi was so powerful, it would allow Zhou Yi to fight opponents far above his level, crushing soul lords and soul sects easily. He could probably even take out a soul king or soul emperor with a surprise attack, if he had a martial skill with a sharp attack, like a sword technique that could cleave the world in two, or if he could upgrade his 13 deadly swords to 15 deadly swords. He might even be able to kill a titled Douluo. Of course, that would require perfect timing and surprise. After all, while Zhou Yi's current qi was of high quality, he had far less of it than stronger soul masters, he probably only had enough power for one good shot. But now that I'm a grandmaster healer, I don't need to risk my life. I'll just whip up some poisons. Even a titled Douluo wouldn't stand a chance. Zhou Yi was brimming with confidence. Honey. Liu Erlong woke up, her voice soft. The repeated honey almost caused Zhou Yi to backslide, despite his newfound strength, but it was late, and Liu Erlong had a rough night. Zhou Yi had to suppress the fire in his heart. Liu Erlong helped Zhou Yi get dressed, wash up, and eat breakfast. By the time they were done, it was already 3 in the afternoon. Zhou Yi carried the limping Liu Erlong to the living room. Yu Xiaogang had been waiting for a long time. He'd come to see Zhou Yi and Liu Erlong early in the morning. Unfortunately, he'd been waiting an hour and a half. Now, he finally saw Zhou Yi and Liu Erlong emerge. Liu Erlong's fair face was flushed, and she looked radiant. While her appearance hadn't changed, she had a new, intoxicating charm that made Yu Xiaogang slightly dazed. He'd never seen her like this before. Not daring to look any further, Yu Xiaogang quickly lowered his head and stepped forward respectfully to greet them. Greetings, teacher. Greetings, master's wife. No need to be so formal. After some pleasantries, Zhou Yi was pleased with Yu Xiaogang's respectful attitude and decided to impart some more knowledge. He was calling him teacher after all, he couldn't let the kid call him that for nothing. Xiaogang, wasn't your spirit, Luo Sanpao, something you could feed? Zhou Yi asked, looking at Yu Xiaogang. Yes, teacher. Yu Xiaogang replied seriously. When I use my spirit, I often feed Luo Sanpao white radishes. It replenishes Luo Sanpao's energy and reduces the amount of soul power I spend. Zhou Yi nodded. Yesterday, I mentioned that spiritual power affects spirits. But your spirit is different. It's mutated into a living creature. That kind of spirit is actually easier to change. Because not only can you use psychic power to influence it, but when you release it, you can use food and potions to cultivate and change it. Carrots alone won't cut it. Don't treat it like a pig, raise it like a dragon. Give it food or medicinal ingredients that contain dragon, or temper its body with dragon blood. If you don't have real dragon blood, you can use the blood of other dragon-born soul beasts instead. In short, your spirit is special. You can affect its changes from both a mental and physical perspective. That when Zhou Yi finished, Yu Xiaogang stood frozen, his eyes wide, his mouth agape, and his breathing rapid. He was right, his mutated spirit, Luo Sanpao, was a biological creature, so he could influence it physically, along with the guidance of spiritual power. That was like having a double boost. It would be much easier for his Luo Sanpao to mutate than for others. What's more, his Luo Sanpao had once been a golden holy dragon, but mutated, but he had the foundation of a top-tier spirit. Mutating should be easier, as long as he used a two-pronged approach. Wouldn't successfully mutating his spirit just be a matter of time? Teacher, you're a genius. Your words are truly enlightening. I'm honored to learn from you. Yu Xiaogang bowed deeply, overjoyed. He felt that as long as he followed the teacher's method, his spirit would probably mutate soon. Success was right around the corner. His decision to become a disciple yesterday was definitely the right one. Coming here early this morning to greet the teacher and his wife, even after waiting an hour and a half, was worth it. The teacher was amazing. Okay, go on. I'm busy these days. You don't have to come greet me every day. Focus on figuring out how to change your spirit. Zhou Yi waved Yu Xiaogang away. Yes. Yu Xiaogang bowed respectfully. Teacher, master's wife, I'll take my leave. As he walked out the door, Yu Xiaogang suddenly thought of something. Just as he was about to turn around and ask, he saw Zhou Yi pick up Liu Erlong. Yu Xiaogang shuddered, feeling a pang in his heart, but as a disciple, he didn't dare interrupt his master and his wife's private time. He quickly turned and left, filled with a bittersweet emotion. Teacher is so busy. Chapter 8 Sensation in the Mainland, Qianxunji and Bibi Dong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Did you hear? Zhou Yi's spirit has mutated. Zhou Yi? You mean that Zhou Yi, the theory guy with the useless sword spirit who thinks he can take on the gods? Who else? I heard his rusty old sword spirit turned into a dragon sword, a top-tier weapon spirit. Seriously? Zhou Yi got that lucky? A straight-up spirit mutation, into a top weapon? That's rarer than finding 100,000-year soul beast on its last legs. Hold on, it's not just luck. Let me tell you, Zhou Yi's spirit mutation wasn't just a fluke. Not luck. Did he find some magic item to change his spirit? Not an item, it's his self-made mental power that did it. Mental power? What's that? The stronger the will, the stronger you get. Like Zhou Yi. From day one, he believed his rusty sword was an unbeatable weapon. He practiced every day, rain or shine, using it to fight soul beasts and masters. He always believed it was a divine sword. 16 years straight. He never wavered. Even if the sword looked the same, he knew his belief was changing it, pushing it to become the weapon he envisioned. That's the power of the mind. Whoa. That's mental power. Use your will to change your spirit. My spirit's a snake, can I turn it into a dragon? Mine's a cat, could it become a tiger? Wait, I heard Zhou Yi's rusty sword didn't just use mental power to become a dragon sword. What else was involved? Word is, the sword got sharpened, and then Zhou Yi used it to kill a dragon, soaked the sword in the dragon's blood, and that's how it got its dragon energy. Otherwise, it'd be some other kind of sword. What kind of dragon did he kill? A lizard? A croc? The mutation happened on his wedding night. His wife, Liu Erlong, has a fire dragon spirit. Connect the dots, people. Haha, is the dragon's blood thing even true? You think they're making this up? I just want to know if he actually did it with a dragon's blood. But seriously, if this mental power thing works, Zhou Yi just changed the game for soul masters. His discovery will last generations, and he'll be remembered as a legend. I think it works, Zhou Yi's a genius. Works or not, it's worth a shot. Big reward if it pays off. Yeah, my family's spirit is a plain hammer. From now on, it's the clear sky hammer. Even if I don't change it, my kids will believe, and their kids, and so on. Eventually, it'll be the real deal. Zhou Yi's mental power theory spread like wildfire, causing a huge stir in the soul master world. Skeptics were everywhere, but the theory was solid and didn't cost anything to try, so tons of soul masters gave it a shot. Results wouldn't be immediate. Even so, it sparked intense interest and debate. Major forces on the continent received detailed reports early on. Spirit Hall. In Spirit City, the Papal Palace. Mental power? That's ambitious. Pope Qianxunji read the detailed report from Douluo, impressed by Zhou Yi's theory. Even though mental power was invisible, Qianxunji thought it likely existed and could affect spirits. Donger, your thoughts? Qianxunji asked Bibi Dong, his prized disciple, in a soft voice. Teacher, spirit mutation is rare. Most mutations are for the worse, and only a few improve the spirit. For Zhou Yi to propose this theory and then actually mutate his spirit, it's not just luck. Plus, he changed his spirit for the better. Bibi Dong said respectfully, I think this theory's likely valid. We should test it out, there's nothing to lose. Good. Qianxunji nodded. Spirit Hall had more soul masters than anyone, but most were low-level with weak spirits. Zhou Yi's theory was less useful for top-tier or god-level spirits like theirs, but for low-level soul masters, it was a spark of hope. If the theory was correct, then, in the future, more top-tier soul masters might emerge, a huge win for soul masters. It would also strengthen Spirit Hall's power, because Spirit Hall had the most soul masters in the entire continent. Donger, go give Zhou Yi a gift, and invite him to join Spirit Hall. If he's willing, we'll train him and maybe even make him a holy son. Qianxunji told Bibi Dong after a pause. Qianxunji originally didn't give a damn about Zhou Yi, but now it's different. Zhou Yi not only had a top-tier spirit, but his intelligence was striking. if Zhou Yi joined Spirit Hall. And the theory was confirmed, it would boost Spirit Hall's reputation and benefit them big time. Yes, teacher. After leaving the Pope's palace, Bibi Dong stood on the balcony, her eyes gazing toward Nodding City, her mind uneasy. Is this what made you so sure you'd become a title Douluo within 10 years, that even a top-tier spirit would find it tough to become a title Douluo within a decade, especially since Zhou Yi was 22, it would be impossible for anyone else, but Bibi Dong had a feeling, Zhou Yi could do it, who would have thought his spirit could mutate? And he succeeded. Dragon Sword. Bibi Dong frowned, especially when she thought about the spirit being dipped and tempered by a dragon's blood, she felt disgusted. Humph, I'll take this chance to see your dragon sword. As for inviting Zhou Yi to join the Spirit Hall, Bibi Dong didn't take it seriously. She knew that Zhou Yi would not join any force, besides Spirit Hall, the royal family of the Heaven Do Empire, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, and other forces had heard of Zhou Yi's mutation and were sending people to Nodding City to recruit him. The continent was being shaken by Zhou Yi's success. Chapter 9 Sad Breeze, 14 Deadly Swords. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhou Mansion. Liu Erlong leaned weakly in Zhou Yi's arms, her eyes like silk, her face flushed and radiant. She playfully scolded, "Why were you so rough today? You tossed me around so much it hurts. Couldn't you be a little gentler?" Zhou Yi was already aware of the changes in his own body. Since learning the Sacred Heart art, his soul power had transformed into the more potent Sacred Heart Qi. This energy not only accelerated his recovery but also enhanced his physique. It was a major improvement over his previous training methods, but the Sacred Heart art was too valuable to reveal. Until he was strong enough, Zhou Yi wasn't telling anyone. He gently caressed Liu Erlong's skin and chuckled, "Didn't you enjoy it?" "Humph. You still hurt me. It's all your fault, Erlong. You're so beautiful I lost control." Zhou Yi gazed at her, admiration evident in his eyes. Liu Erlong was undeniably gorgeous, her figure rivaled even Bibi Dong's. Of course, the only way to really know, he'd have to investigate personally to be sure. He wasn't about to make unsubstantiated claims like Yu Xiaogang. Liu Erlong's heart fluttered. Even the soreness Zhou Yi caused couldn't diminish her happiness. She believed his words. Words can lie, but the body doesn't. She felt his passion for her. "Get some rest, Erlong." Zhou Yi gently lifted her and placed her on the bed. He kissed her forehead before pulling away. He also gained over 100 experience points. "Where are you going?" Liu Erlong looked at him, not wanting to be separated. "To buy medicine." For Zhou Yi's master-level medical skills to be effective, he needed a variety of ingredients. It was always best to be prepared, especially now that his theories on martial soul mutation and psychic power had made him famous. Some people might try to take advantage of him. Even with the power from the Sacred Heart art, fighting strong opponents directly was risky. Poison was the easiest and safest method. "Honey, I'm fine. Just rest, and I'll be okay." Liu Erlong avoided his gaze, shyly saying, "I'm not that delicate." She assumed he was buying medicine for her. "Don't worry. I'm buying medicine for other things, too." Zhou Yi smiled reassuringly, covered her with a quilt, and left. As she watched him go, Liu Erlong smiled happily, but then felt the soreness and sighed, "You're getting stronger and stronger." After leaving Liu Erlong, Zhou Yi took Zhang Long and Zhao Hu to various pharmacies in Nodding City to buy medicine. Zhang Long and Zhao Hu were among Zhou Yi's registered disciples. He had more than a dozen like them. They lacked martial talent and innate soul power, so they couldn't become soul masters. Instead, they worked for Zhou Yi, who taught them the first 10 moves of his 13 life-destroying swords. With hard work, they were considered strong among ordinary people. These disciples managed Zhou Yi's restaurants and other businesses. Money wasn't everything, but it was essential. It had been 16 years since Zhou Yi traveled back in time. With his knowledge and experience, making money wasn't hard. His family was quite wealthy. Half an hour later, Zhang Long and Zhao Hu followed Zhou Yi back to the mansion, carrying bags filled with medicinal materials and bottles. Since this was their first time, Zhou Yi had come along to oversee it. In the future, Zhang Long and Zhao Hu could handle it themselves. "This prescription is for body strengthening. Take one dose daily and practice the 13 life-destroying swords 100 times. You'll definitely improve. Zhou Yi wrote a prescription and handed it to them. Thank you, Master. Zhang Long and Zhao who were thrilled and thanked him repeatedly. You're dismissed. Zhou Yi sent them away and began refining the medicine. First, he made a poison that spread through the air, causing muscle weakness and preventing the use of soul power, like the sad breeze from the demigods and semi-devils novel. Too lazy to come up with an original name, Zhou Yi called it Si Su Qin Feng. With his master-level medical skills, even a titled Douluo would be helpless. Second, he made an ointment for healing injuries, reducing swelling, and relieving pain, which he named Jiuhua Yulu ointment. The third, Zhou Yi worked late into the night, creating medicines for various purposes, including 5 or 6 types of deadly poisons, each capable of taking down a titled Douluo. His master-level medical skills were truly terrifying. Even non-toxic ingredients became deadly when mixed and refined by Zhou Yi. That was the power of a master of medicine. What a strong medicinal smell! Liu Erlong entered the room and was immediately hit by the scent. Honey, you know medicine? Seeing the piles of ingredients and countless bottles, Liu Erlong exclaimed, is there anything you can't do? Make a baby. Zhou Yi laughed. You, Liu Erlong rolled her eyes, stepped forward, and said, it's getting late. Dinner's ready. All right. Zhou Yi finished up and went to eat with Liu Erlong. After dinner and a shower, Zhou Yi carried Liu Erlong to his room. Erlong, I made this 9-flower jade dew cream especially for you. Want to try it out? No need. Okay. I'll wait until you beg me to use it. In your dreams. The night passed. After Zhou Yi personally applied the Jiuhua jade dew cream to Liu Erlong, she could only think one thing. So good, and even more impressive, Zhou Yi's medical skills were genuinely incredible. The Jiuhua jade dew cream was more effective than she could have imagined. With over 300 experience points, can I upgrade the 13 life-destroying swords to the 14th sword? Zhou Yi glanced at his attribute panel, feeling hopeful. Upgrade. Zhou Yi added the experience points to the 13 deadly swords. His consciousness seemed to travel through time and space, merging with another person, experiencing their sword practice, day after day. Rain or shine, countless sword techniques flooded his mind, captivating him. He didn't know how long it had been. Zhou Yi suddenly jolted, and inspiration struck. 14 deadly swords. Zhou Yi opened his eyes, suppressed his excitement, glanced at the sleeping Liu Erlong, and slipped out to the yard. He grabbed an iron sword. Buzz. The sword flashed. Without using his true energy, Zhou Yi's swordsmanship was still fierce and sharp. The yard was filled with countless strands of sword energy. Boom. With a final thrust, the air seemed to explode, and a powerful aura surged from Zhou Yi. 14 swords had been thrust out along with the final fatal blow. His cultivation had broken through again. Host, Zhou Yi, age, 22. Cultivation, Great Soul Master, level 28, Martial Soul, Dragon Sword, Skills, Sacred Heart Technique, Beginner, 56/10,000, Soul Abilities, Fleeting Glimpse, 520 years, Close to the Horizon, 1001 years, Abilities, 14 Deadly Swords, Master Level Medical Skills, Experience 0. Chapter 10 With Soul Bone Attached Outside, Blue Silver Emperor Ah Yin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Level 28 already? This is moving fast, Zhou Yi thought. Marrying Liu Erlong was like hitting the fast-forward button. 5 levels in 3 days. His strength had exploded. Yeah, cheating rocks. 16 years of grinding got him to level 23. Talk about a snail's pace. But it can be even faster. Zhou Yi remembered all the ginseng and ganoderma he'd gotten as wedding gifts. If he used those, hitting level 30 would be a piece of cake. That stuff doesn't do much for most soul masters' soul power, but Zhou Yi's got the sacred heart art. He can refine it all and boost his power big time. Time to cook. Zhou Yi headed to the kitchen and whipped up some Shirquan Dabu soup with ginseng, ganoderma, and a bunch of other herbs. After he downed it, he felt a surge of raw power course through him. He used the sacred heart art to quickly refine and absorb it. His aura kept getting stronger. Boom. Then, a sudden jolt, level 29, breakthrough, an hour later, another surge, level 30, breakthrough. Zhou Yi felt the lingering medicine, refined the true energy, but his level wouldn't budge any further. Figures. This world's rules. Gotta have a soul ring to keep leveling up. No surprise there, feeling the endless energy and power, Zhou Yi left the room. Afternoon already. Honey, did you level up again? Liu Erlong looked shocked. Even if Zhou Yi's martial soul mutated into a top-tier one, wasn't this a little much? Of course. Your husband's a genius, remember, Zhou Yi grinned. Yep, Liu Erlong nodded eagerly, eyes sparkling with admiration. Are you hungry? I had a meal made for you. Starving, Zhou Yi glanced at Liu Erlong's curves. All this new power was making him frisky. But I think I'll eat you. Ah, Liu Erlong squealed, secretly pleased he was so into her. How about food first? She'd already eaten lunch, but Zhou Yi hadn't. Isn't that what I'm about to do? Zhou Yi wasn't hungry at all. He swept her up in his arms. Beauty and delicious food, all in one, Liu Erlong giggled, surrendering to his whims, happy that he adored her, but also wondering if she could keep up. Maybe I should find him another wife. Liu Erlong thought, recalling his earlier suggestion. Zhou Yi was oblivious. He was already planning his soul ring hunt for tomorrow. Maybe he could snag 100,000-year soul beast, especially Ah Yin, the blue Silver Emperor. He was definitely interested. The moon rose and fell, the sun rose and fell. The next morning, Liu Erlong dragged herself out of bed and helped Zhou Yi dress. Hunting soul beasts is dangerous. Let me come with you. Liu Erlong was a soul honorable, after all, but her combat skills didn't measure up to Zhou Yi's. You're still worn out. Relax at home. Zhou Yi's words made Liu Erlong blush. She shot him a glare, but her eyes held worry. Hunting soul beasts was risky business, the death rate was high. Come on, don't you know how strong I am? Zhou Yi tweaked her nose. Relax, I'll be fine. Just wait for me at home, okay? Okay, Liu Erlong nodded reluctantly. Be careful out there. I'll be waiting. Smooch. Zhou Yi kissed her cheek and headed out alone. Soul masters on Douluo Continent like teams. Zhou Yi liked flying solo, more flexible that way. Since yesterday afternoon, Zhou Yi had gained over 300 experience points, which he immediately poured into Zhongyi Dengxian's step, his peerless movement skill. He hadn't mastered it yet, but he was close. Looks like martial arts cost less experience points than kung fu. Zhou Yi mused. I can practice along the way. Maybe this trip to the Star Doe Forest will get me to the entry level without using any points. Zhou Yi made great time and reached the town near the Star Doe Forest in less than a day. The Star Doe Forest was south of the Qianxunji Empire, spanning the two empires and holding the biggest population of soul beasts on the continent. Zhou Yi had been there before, so he knew the area. Even though the Star Doe Forest was huge and packed with soul beasts, finding the right one wasn't easy. Yu Xiaogang said the third soul ring limit was 1,760 years. Zhou Yi figured that with his body fueled by the Sacred Heart's true energy, he could handle a 5,000-year soul ring without a problem, so, he was hunting a 5,000-year-old soul beast, testing his limits at the same time. 2 days passed. Zhou Yi ran into soul beasts galore but still hadn't found the right one. On the bright side, Zhongyi Dengxianbu was getting better and better at outmaneuvering the beasts. He was one step away from mastering it. Roar. A powerful, majestic roar suddenly echoed, rustling the trees. Zhou Yi looked up and saw a bear. A flying bear. It had wings on its back, one crackling with wind and the other with thunder. It radiated power. Must be a mutated soul beast. Zhou Yi's eyes lit up. He wanted a powerful soul beast for his third ring. This flying bear fit the bill. It was only about 4,000 years old, but that was close enough. Hey, big bear, Zhou Yi shouted, taunting the bear. Roar, the flying bear glared, and when it saw the tiny human mocking it, it went ballistic. Wind and thunder roared as it charged with overwhelming force. Whoosh. Zhou Yi tapped his toes and slid sideways, as if taking a stroll in a garden. like a true immortal, it was ascending immortal step. Roar, that the flying bear seemed even angrier now, its eyes blazing. It swiped at Zhou Yi with a paw. The huge paw was bigger than Zhou Yi's head, one hit and he'd be paced, but Zhou Yi dodged every time. It wasn't easy, but ascending immortal step made it look effortless, keeping Zhou Yi relaxed. Zhou Yi didn't attack, he used the bear as a training dummy for his ascending immortal steps. Time dragged on, the flying bear couldn't land a hit. Enraged, it roared. Hoo hoo hoo. Purple soul power surged, and the bear glowed. It was using its innate skill, gravity domain. Bam! Zhou Yi hadn't expected that. He was instantly weighed down and plummeted. The flying bear seized the chance to swipe. The divine dragon sword appeared in Zhou Yi's hand, ready to finish the bear, but then, a flash of inspiration. Zhou Yi twisted his body at an impossible angle, and when he reappeared, he was behind the bear. Ascending the immortal realm, Zhou Yi grinned. He hadn't expected a breakthrough at the last second. Boom. The ground shook as the bear crashed down, a deep gash across its neck. At that moment, Zhou Yi had dodged the attack and unleashed the 14 deadly swords. One strike cut its throat. The Sacred Heart's true energy is a monster, combined with the 14 deadly swords. Fei Xiong might be powerful, but it still cuts open under this sword as easily as tofu. Invincible, Zhou Yi was thrilled. When the bear's soul ring appeared, he immediately started absorbing it. The other spirit beasts had scattered long ago. It was safe for now, and with the Sacred Heart art, it wouldn't take long to absorb the ring. Sure enough, a 4,000-year-old soul ring was no problem. The third soul skill, gravity field. Zhou Yi was satisfied with his new skill. Nice. But then, something seemed to explode on his back, making Zhou Yi cry out in pain. An external soul bone. Zhou Yi thought of Tang San's 8 spider spears. His situation seemed similar. Sure enough, a pair of wind and thunder wings sprouted from his back, the same wings the bear had used. Didn't expect an extra bonus. After mastering the wings, Zhou Yi couldn't resist flying, soaring through the air and testing the wind and thunder. Hey, a beauty! And all alone, Zhou Yi spotted a mature, intelligent woman in the forest below, and his eyes lit up. Judging by her clothes and looks, if he wasn't mistaken, she was a 100,000-year soul beast, Ah Yin, the blue Silver Emperor.